What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X? This is your boy Gage. I'm here with Jokes and I'm here with Sin. You are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today, wow, we're gonna follow up a little bit on MAGFest. Talk about how that went. Hey, Jokes, give me a mic check.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're muted, buddy.
Yeah.
You're muted, sir. You're not making any noise.
Can't hear you at all.
We got me and Center here, but you just you're out the game.
You're out the game.
Game over.
No, still can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, nah, dog. I got nothing. I don't know what's going on. It's like you're here on time. From you know what I'm saying? The people are excited because they can see you. Now we can't hear you, buddy.
Get quiet.
But anyway, like we don't need to be able to hear you for you to do your job, put up the beacons. You know what I mean? You take care of that.
1 2 1 2.
There you go.
Look at you.
There you go. Welcome back.
That's so weird.
Was it
but
weird?
you have a super
it's a delay.
lag. Yeah.
It's a little, you're a little laggy. Wayne Tech, as they call it.
Right.
It happens in our spaces. Yeah, you go ahead and get that link up for the folks. Sin, you got a job to do. Knock that out, please.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it. We
most certainly and absolutely do. Thank you very, very much. Patreon is really the best way to support us. We would love for you to do just that if you can. Mm-hmm. What's up, Heather? But if you can't, it's cool. You can still go and sign up and lurk for free. That's nice too. But you can always share and like or hang out. Mm-hmm. We appreciate that as well.
Absolutely.
Sin.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we met in the virtual space and we had a discussion.
We did have a discussion. Oh, we did.
First movie club discussion of the year.
Out the park, baby. Bam.
First joint was a real joint.
Yes, it was.
You missed it. Our first discussion for Loading Snacks Movie Club went live yesterday. Movie of the month was Machete. That was
great way to start 2025.
With a real one, for sure.
Oh yeah, good times.
But over the weekend, Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, we were all together. Where were we, Jokes?
We was at MAGFest.
We was at MAGFest.
we were in the building.
we was at MAGFest. How'd you feel about MAGFest this year, Jokes?
I feel pretty good. Like I feel good overall. I don't know. I felt like it wasn't as even though it was busy, it still didn't feel as congested, I feel like, as it did in previous years. But other than that, I mean, great time, great music. We got to go down, play a lot of games, saw some friends, met some new people. Typical things that we always do. But overall, I think it was a great time. Even we stayed until the wee hours of the morning on Friday into Saturday, which was really fun.
No, dog. Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
know. No, dog. Are you okay?
No, he's not.
Listen, it's 4 days. I gotta remember. I'm trying to remember. Gosh.
You're excited right now for your little, victory.
Oh yeah, serious victory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He'll fill you in. Yeah.
Overall thoughts on MAGFest?
I mean, MAGFest is a vibe. You know what I mean? It's great music around every corner. It's all types of games being played around every corner, whether you're into video games, board games, card games, whatever. Just great people, great energy. Love going to it. Like I said, we got to play a little bit more games this year than we usually do, so we had fun doing that, especially trying to get that, praying for that virtual on to get started. Oh my gosh, was just frustrating throughout the weekend, but they came through finally. So being able to sit down and play against each other, and that me and Joe's finally getting to play the Gundam game that we never get to because it's always so crowded. Uh, and making some friends doing it. You know what I mean? It was just overall just great times, just great vibes.
Did you make friends or did you make enemies?
We made adversaries. We made adversaries. Like not beef, but like y'all get better. Come see us next year. Be like, all right, we're gonna come back on these sticks.
Yeah, they told y'all we'll be right here next year to whoop
Yeah,
y'all again.
straight up.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
Like,
He said, we practice at home and then we come back here for this. Like, okay.
yeah, I don't know if you made friends, sir. But yeah, okay, cool. MagFest remains honestly probably my most highly recommended event of everything that we do. And I guess that's saying something because we do a lot of events.
True.
MagFest is an entity kind of all its own. It is there are events that are coming close to it in some ways, just based on the kind of event it is in terms of it being a festival and just being like running for 24 hours. There are other events that are like it in terms of Katsu, which again is also its own kind of a living, breathing thing. BlurCon, I think, is on the heels of what something like that is, at least in terms of stuff that happens in this area. But MagFest has its own energy in a way that I just think doesn't exist in any other event we go to. It is a video game. It's a music festival where you can completely ignore the music, sort of like
yeah,
to an extent. Like, you don't have to go to a concert, but there are concerts all the time. You're gonna hear music at some point because people will just stop in a hallway in a jam space or whatever and play music. But it it's the only event that we go to that like has its own like traveling infection of a yell.
Yeah.
That does sometimes in fact bleed into other events, like every now and again. It's rare, but it happens. There's just something special about it, and it's kind of like everybody gets it, everybody knows, and people just participate. And I'm not sure how many people even know where the Colossus War comes from, why it exists, you know what I mean, and really what it is. They just do it.
At this
And
point, just do it. Yeah.
I think I probably heard in the 3 out of the 4 days that we were there, more successful roars than I usually ever hear. Where say, yeah, y'all party. Some of us party. 2 of us party. 1 of us went home. So, I mean, 2 of the people you can see on your screen party. 3 of us actually partied. And boy, what a party it was.
Absolutely.
If it is any indication, what the BlurCon MagFest chiptune stage takeover was like, I mean, is that BlurCon in like a month is gonna be insane. It's going to be insane because
that melanin.
it's just like I don't know, man. It's that 2 a.m., 3 a.m. energy is real at MAGFest. Anyway, down there,
I got a great Colossus.
Buddy said I need to go one day because I have a great Colossus War, or at least you think you do. And you get there.
Got some vets.
It's like knowing you the best in your neighborhood in Madden, and then you play online. You're like, man,
trash.
Like, you might get to MAGFest and find out that great Colossus War you got ain't quite that great. It's different. It's not. You got to carry it, and you got to understand the timing. You can't just jump in there. I was literally giving an explanation and lessons to people on like why you messing it up. You jumping in too early. You got to hold tight. Wait till it's almost over, then kick yours in so you can carry it over.
Keep carrying it over. Yeah.
MAGFest is great. It's great. People are drunk, but they're nice. Hey, Nana. Y'all saw a Colossus War in the bathroom.
We sure did.
Sure did.
He had a rough night.
Very rough night.
Blowing chunks in the
no. He had a great night. He was having a rough night.
He was just in there telling people, I'm not sick.
I'm not sick.
Just hungover.
Hey, what I tell you, my man had his hands like holding onto his stomach for dear life.
Just drool coming out of that point. Just heaving. Just all of it coming up.
That was like Friday aftermath.
Yeah,
I'm like, you got to get yourself together, bro.
And it wasn't even that late either.
No, it was early. Yeah,
it was early. That was early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. MAGFest is always a good time. It really is. Just lots to do, lots to see. You can't do it all. You can't possibly see it all. There's stuff everywhere. There's stuff we didn't get to check out. Stuff we talked about going to check out. I think you're right, Jokes, that it was it maybe felt a little less crowded, but I also think again they've kind of like spread some of the things out that they're doing a little further away, and we also just managed to find a good quiet corner for a little while.
A couple times.
So it's an important piece of the pie. But yeah, MAGFest, great, highly recommend it. I will say, like, the hardest part about recommending MAGFest to people who maybe are used to going to other conventions is the fact that it is a 4-day event that you basically have to pay 4 days for. You don't have the option to. You all right, Sin?
Yeah, I was thinking my coworker was going to come down, but I explained to him price. Like, you're going to have to pay for like the whole thing. You can't like just pick a day. He's like, oh no, I can't do that. So all right,
you say that. When I was at work today, because everyone was like, "You've been gone for a week. Where you been at?" And so I started telling people about MAGFest.
Mm-hmm.
And this one dude that works in the back, he his head just popped out of nowhere. He was like, "You was at MAGFest?" I was like, "Yeah, I've only been talking about that John for like the last like week and some change." He's like, "I was there all 4 days," and I was just like,
"You know what the difference is? Nobody missed him. Nobody was like, you was gone for a week to him."
It was like things burned down. Like, walked in the door, people was like, hey, it's still here. Looks like nothing burned down, so we good.
Right.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. I just, Cuddy, I hear you saying you want to come through. You just gotta be prepared to spend the money. If you can't do all 4 days, this year and last year, we've talked about it before. The first 2 years that it sold out,
Mm-hmm.
and having it sell out just changes the logistics of things. There were times when like MAGFest is strange. You can kind of just lurk at MAGFest. Like you can kind of just go
Yeah.
and hang out at the
Yeah.
you definitely did crash our panel, Rich, last year. That was dope. Um, you can kind of go and just lurk. You don't necessarily need a badge to experience a good portion,
Mm-hmm.
That's
technically, of
true.
what MAGFest is because
Yeah.
there's the stuff happening everywhere.
Yeah.
What's up, Zane? And there's like you need a badge to get into like the concerts.
Mm-hmm.
You need a
Vendor
badge to get
areas,
into
right?
like the main halls where the actual arcades are and the
Mhm.
consoles are. What up, AO? Domingo in the building. And to get into um panels.
Mm-hmm.
You probably really well, yeah. Panels.
Some of the big
Mhm.
ones, definitely.
But like you could just like there are people who just end up inside of the Gaylord. Like, what is going on here?
What is
Who
going
don't have
on?
anything to do with MAGFest, and you know who they are because they're dressed
Yeah,
like
they
regular.
stick out. Yeah, like a sore thumb. Yeah.
They just look
Couple.
they look like they absolutely don't belong, and they
I saw a
are
few people there
in
for like
awe slash
birthdays.
shock at yeah. People there like, oh, it's my babe carrying around birthday balloons, trying to go to the little steakhouse in the joint, just looking around like what is going on. And
What's going
again,
on?
there's orchestras playing,
Yep.
and it's just it's
Colossus
a
roars,
yeah, it's a special.
cosplays.
So there's definitely stuff you can go and do there without quote unquote paying. Again, unless they decide to change security, which is
Mm-hmm.
how it used to be at Katsucon, and you can't do that anymore. Um, Katsucon is now you can't even get into the door of the hotel if you don't have a badge or you aren't picking up a badge or you don't have a room key. You're not
Yep.
getting in the building.
Yep.
You can't make a reservation at the restaurant. You can't. So I would just say that like if you want to get tickets, if you want to go to MAGFest, follow their social media and buy the tickets as soon as they say they're
As soon as
available.
they
And I
go up.
say that because the closer you get to the event, the more expensive it gets. So you can save yourself somewhere in the realm of $30 to $50 for a 4-day pass that gets you in for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, as opposed to waiting until the end. Again, we used to go and just kind of hang out in the main areas and shoot stuff and talk to cosplayers and whatever. We might go Friday night and then wait until midnight Friday and then walk into the registration thing and buy
Mm-hmm.
a pass for Saturday, Sunday. Like you can do it on that day. At least you used to be able to, but once they sell out, you can't even
That's
do
it.
that.
Can't do nothing.
Nope.
Katsucon happens in the same place.
Oh,
It's in the
same place.
Gaylord.
Same
Yep.
place. Literally like
So,
2 weeks.
so it's you used to be able to do that, and you might be. I mean, we done it where we had gone for multiple days and didn't decide to go in and actually check out the vendor space and the arcades and stuff like that until like Sunday and like midnight Saturday going into Sunday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you go and get a badge for like $25. You know what I mean? And just go in and do whatever. But now that it's selling out, you're not able to do that anymore.
Volunteering can get you a badge as well.
Heather is right. Volunteering can absolutely get you a badge. But you're gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
That's
If
true.
you ain't ready to be working at 4 a.m., not necessarily that you have to.
But you could have it.
Paneling can also get you a badge.
Mm-hmm.
We've done that. Um, but for somebody who really kind of just wants to go and check it out, if you're not looking to like be on post somewhere doing something, I will say that they have a lot of volunteers. There are a lot of people there. Again, MAGFest is a 501c.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people walking around and doing stuff for safety and security and whatever. Because again, there really are a lot of people that are just really getting drunk and just being
Yeah. Having
that.
a good time. Yep.
But
Yeah,
props to
but again,
MAGFest
they're
and being
generally
able to have those people in there to still check on people as they see them. possibly having a too fun of a time. At least make sure that they're good in there.
Buddy said I'll be LS security
Best
or I can
boy
be a best
Grit.
boy Grit. Let me tell you what. One, I don't like that
No.
name.
No.
Two, we don't really need security. Not at MAGFest. Like, we don't really need security at MAGFest. However, we might need backup on a game, though. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Let's move this. Hey, LS crew. Hopefully, y'all are good. Our jokes and send entrance in this year's Royal Rumble. Andrew.
From the couch.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets.
Hey, maybe in 2K24
They haven't even made characters of themselves in
2K25. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not even, they're not even there. I'm gonna try to show you guys something.
Okay.
I have been trying to keep my eye on this Sinners movie that Michael B. Jordan is doing. And they dropped a new trailer today.
Yeah, the vampire joint.
Let me try to take a look at it. We'll see if it might just be being funny. I'm gonna tell you what. That joint's gonna be a problem, bro. I'm all in. On YouTube, you can't see
YouTube. Okay.
I can believe that. Let me try. I'm just gonna say this. I highly recommend you go watch that trailer if you haven't seen that trailer.
Yeah.
After the show. Don't you know what I mean? Don't leave us now.
Yeah, that's probably a day one.
Yeah, you can do vampires, right, Sin?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's not really horror. It's different.
Yeah. We're killing vampires. Let's go.
Yeah, at some point though, we're gonna have to do a straight up just a walk down of what you can and what you can't.
Where's the line? Where does that line get drawn at?
Oh, there's a line. There's certainly a line.
Did you see Event Horizon?
Saw that in the theater. That was during the time where we went to the theater every weekend, no matter what came out to go see something. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So I was sitting in a horror movie. Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody knew it was a horror movie when they went to go see it.
Didn't go in there, no, but found out real quick. So
that thing lets you know. Let me just make sure I zoom in a little bit on that thing right there real quick.
I was waiting.
You know what I'm saying? Which I know about them birds, baby.
Cuddy asked, what was it? It was Sinners, Cuddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The new trailer for Sinners. Starring Michael B. Jordan.
Ryan Coogler with Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. That thing looked like it's
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, the first trailer didn't sell me.
I agree. I was most like, this is interesting, but I wasn't it didn't have me checking for it at all. This one does. This one absolutely does.
They're about to make Tommy guns cool again. I'm telling you now. Telling you now, it's gonna be a problem. Jokes.
Yo.
What up, Anthony? Destiny 2, dog.
Mm-hmm.
They had a live stream today. Bungie did. They have a new, story arc. It's called the Heresy Act.
Mm-hmm.
Heresy Act 1. Did you get a chance to watch any of the stream?
I got to watch a little bit of the beginning part of it. So kind of just getting the gist of what it is that we're gonna do. Like for those that played Destiny, they're going back to the Dreadnought. So if you're familiar with the Taken King DLC that came out in Destiny 1, we're kind of gonna go back and revisit that with a whole new spin on things from it. So that for me, that piques my interest because that was my favorite DLC that Destiny's ever released. So I'm eager to see how we're gonna go back and take it and do things anew with it.
I mean, Oryx is back
somehow, in some shape or form. That explanation, it's fine.
Is this what you were expecting? When when the final shape came out, and it's like, this is the end of the Destiny story.
Yeah.
You know what? I guess I don't know. Like, what were you expecting in terms of what they were gonna do going forward to keep?
At
I mean,
that
again, it's a
point.
live service game,
So you
so
got to
if they're
keep things
going to
going.
maintain it in some way, they got to do something. But
The final shape to me, it seemed like we were trying to, or at least it seemed like they were trying to get to at least the end of that story. I was thinking that maybe, hey, we were going to get something else that was going to hold us off until Destiny 3, but at this point, I don't think that's anywhere in the horizon that we're going to be looking at. So, um, my guess is maybe some of this that what we're getting now is part of what was planned to be part of Destiny 3. Could be totally wrong. But definitely, I feel like I know they talked about doing these like smaller updates, going back to some of the way that things were working in the past with like some of those the weekly resets where you'll be able to like carry the story instead of like giving you like all this stuff just at one time. They wanted to kind of break it up a little bit differently and take it back to the ways of old for it. Um, because I guess a lot of people were talking about like the progression and like you weren't necessarily involved the same way as you were in the old days, and they're trying to redo that with the new add-ins that they're going to be doing with it. So
are you jumping back in?
I think I may. I think I've had a good like. Hey, listen, this is realistic. This is what happens with me in Destiny all the time. I get in for a good while, and then I have like this break. I've taken a good chunk of time off from Destiny. I feel like I may jump back in. My issue is if I jump back in, I know that I'm going to end up not playing anything else. And I think with the time that I've taken outside of Destiny, I've played a whole bunch of more of other things. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to jump back in.
Um, so they announced a Star Wars crossover, some DLC. Um, the Elite Death Troopers outfit for hunters, the Imperial Royal Guard for warlocks,
Okay.
and the Shock Enforcer, basically this classic stormtrooper
Mm-hmm.
for Titans. A new ghost
Mm-hmm.
that looks like the Death Star.
The Death Star.
Okay. Obvious.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Listen, you know they're doing a speeder bike.
Of course.
Um,
Maybe a
everything is
TIE
supposed to be
fighter
available
or
day
an X-Wing.
one next week when it hits.
Mm-hmm.
At Eververse. Just go to
Okay.
Eververse and make your purchases. I'm gonna be honest. I thought about it. I was looking real hard. No. I don't know, dog. I feel like probably not. And at the point where I'm going, is it worth the hard drive space?
I'm happy I didn't delete Destiny because I was literally this close to deleting Destiny.
I can't. I can't pull the trigger on deleting Destiny.
Hey, Leah,
Hey.
long time.
Uh oh.
Leah says, "Good evening, merry gentlemen. Just dropping by to say hello real quick. Got to work on Awesome Con swag. Excellent. That is also right around the corner. Looking forward to seeing you there, Leah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you. Sin.
Yeah.
You know, we run a lot of co-op stuff together. We play a lot of stuff. We did Destiny for a long time.
Mhm.
It is probably the one game where you can almost guarantee Jokes is going to play with you.
Yes. Yes. You can almost guarantee that. Yes.
For a little while, it was like that with the Division 2.
Facts. Yes.
I don't even remember what happened with the Division.
No, you were there. You were locked
No, I
in.
remember playing. I just don't remember what. I may have gone back to
No.
Destiny.
What he's saying is he don't remember
Right.
playing with us.
No.
He remember
I do.
he
No.
just phased us out.
No. I remember playing. We were playing together. No, that part I remember. I'm talking about when I stopped playing. Like what got me to stop playing the Division 2.
Let me just continue to make it loud and
Hold
clear
up.
for y'all.
Hold up, Jokes. Did he just take off one Philly hat and
Yes,
had
he
another
did.
one ready to go?
Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you, be careful with that, because that's how. Listen, that's what I did when the Falcons made the Super Bowl, and we ended up getting our asses whooped.
I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with it. Okay.
Hey, dog.
Nah, I was switching gear. Like I had like all the jerseys I was switching throughout, and continue.
It's the Falcons, dog. Stop. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't really have super high expectations for it. I'm just happy we're here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I'm gonna. I don't think that this is quite enough for me to jump back in.
I'm gonna jump back
It
in
was
because I
enough for
will
me
keep
to
the.
go and literally watch the entire live stream and be like, okay, what are they doing? What kind of changes are they making? What are they bringing back? They're doing a bunch of stuff with exotics and kind of changing some things out and whatever. But then I was just listening to him talk, and I was like, I don't know half of what you're saying anymore. And so I was hoping I was going to be excited about it by like watching what they were talking about and being like, bet, cool, I'm in. But I really wasn't. And so it's not a hard no, but it's a more than likely no.
I'm gonna jump back in because I do want to finish it after putting so much time into it. So I never got the final shape. So it's like right now, since they're about to drop something new, let me just go ahead and purchase the final shape.
I'll say maybe
do it all together.
Too.
Yeah, because I can grab that, go through, finally finish it. You know, and finish pushing through it. Because I know I'm not gonna be on there, but for so long with 2K25 around the corner. So WWE 2K25.
Why? You ain't hardly play the one you got. You
I know.
Play 24. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, but the features in this one, I'm really looking forward to. With them adding the island and underground matches and all that stuff. Yep.
You was looking forward to it last year too. I don't know, dog. I don't know. I don't think those games are great. I just think they're the only games that exist. And so I just think it's not holding you because you play it and it don't feel great like old times. It just don't feel like N64. It just don't feel, you know what I mean? It's not the same. Looking for that Ukes grapple. You know what I'm saying? That Akai grapple. That Def Jam fight for New York grapple.
Just remaster Def Jam.
That step back grapple. Yams. In other news, Sony announced this past week that they were discontinuing making Blu-ray media. Had a lot of people up in arms. I don't think it's quite as bad as people think it is, but the writing's been on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Digital. Yeah.
You know what they're talking. I should have pulled the article, but literally they were like, they're basically no longer making like blank Blu-rays that you can record to and save data on.
Okay.
And so forth. It's not necessarily that they're just like not making Blu-rays or not putting movies on Blu-ray or games necessarily on Blu-ray, but they are no longer manufacturing media that people can buy that they can use to store stuff.
Got it.
Included in that announcement was they're no longer making mini discs.
They still make mini discs?
Damn, they were still making mini discs?
Exactly, bro.
Now that, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was like mini discs, mini DV, yeah, and Blu-ray.
Bro,
Yeah,
I had one of those mini DV video recorder Jones. Like that was I was like elementary school,
Wow.
middle school, somewhere in the
Yeah,
ballpark.
I mean, you know, that's cool. They're not manufacturing those anymore. One that also does. I mean, again, I still think the writing's on the wall. Like I think that it's just we're at that place. Like the likelihood of there being a drive on whatever the next console Sony releases is slim to none. And if they do allow you to buy a separate drive for it, that drive's going to be super expensive. Super expensive because it just there's not enough people buying Blu-ray players for them to offset the cost of manufacturing Blu-ray players. So you know, having it in a console, selling them inside of consoles, those are the most Blu-ray players that get sold. So unless they force it into those to do it, like there's no reason to keep doing it. Nobody else is really manufacturing them, so it's no point in continuing to do that. And they would just be fighting to keep their own medium alive. What I think is probably going to happen is, I'm pretty sure, I mean, there are other disc formats that exist now that have higher capacity than Blu-ray. And they've been around for a long time, but like they certainly haven't been mainstream and they're expensive and so forth. And I just don't know that it, you know, unless people just kind of go crazy about wanting to have something physical to keep stuff on. I just think that it's so easy to have storage that you carry with you.
Yeah, little thumb drives that go right in a keychain or something. Yeah, you don't. It's obsolete now.
I just don't think it's gonna matter. I have a feeling that Nintendo will be the only video game manufacturer that has physical media.
I can see that being the last ones. Yeah.
I don't even really believe that they're going to have data on those cartridges.
We don't think put it in, let it connect to the internet, and
it's like an extra layer just to make sure that you purchase
or protected. Yeah, something. Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, that's what discs have been for a long time. You know what I mean? Like it's just there's some information. Part of the game is on the disc, but you know, it's just kind of doing a check, and then it's really just you know, you're downloading it and you're playing it off the hard drive. Like you can't play them without installing them on the hard drive. They don't generally play off a disc. So I just don't think that's going to happen. I do think, though, it is very telling if in the next 2 years, this kind of leads into the next thing that I have to say. Because Phil Spencer's been making the rounds, doing a lot of interviews. I don't know if you guys have seen any of that stuff. You know, in the next 2 years, we are likely to see at least a new Xbox, maybe PlayStation 6. The PlayStation 5 Pro having just come out makes me think we might be a little further away from PlayStation 6. But we're still probably talking the next 3 years. I'd say 2028. You know, at the latest.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 6. And in the meantime, what can happen in that space in terms of the speed and hard drive space and so forth, connectivity, and I think most importantly in cloud connectivity is really going to make the difference and be the driving force behind what happens with the video game industry as a whole in the next 3 years. If I had to guess, Sony doesn't even do a separate attachment for a disk drive. I just think here's a PlayStation 6,
all digital,
4 terabytes.
Hey, listen, I'm not if they up the storage space like that in there, I would be perfectly fine because that's literally the only. But if they keep, of course, obviously you can do the expansion in there. But if you at least just give right off the break that extra
something,
capacity, I would.
They might not. I could see because the last 2 Sony consoles, last 3, have allowed you to open them and just add additional storage. If they maintain that, then I actually think that they're going to sell you at a high cost, but they're going to keep. You're probably only looking at 2 terabytes max.
That's what I'm thinking. Next time around, it'll be 2 when the new consoles come around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Games will be bigger by then too. Like, yeah.
Microsoft, on the other hand, I think is a little more interesting. So, it's probably not more interesting, but there's a little more happening in the landscape there that I think is having an effect on, again, what's happening with games, media, and so forth. So Phil Spencer was on a podcast where he was asked about the whole situation with the Series S and developers having, if they want to put their games on Xbox, they have to make it so that their games work on the S and on the X. And is that something they're going away from? Are they looking at changing that? And Phil was basically at a hard no. Like, no, no. You got to be able to do both. And he brought up the handheld market.
Mm-hmm.
The Rogue Ally, Asus, even Steam Deck, and was like, right now, game developers are developing for games that run on things that are the same power, or even in some cases less power than what the Series S has. And as a side note, probably the biggest hiccup they've had with that was with Larian when Baldur's Gate 3 came out.
Yeah.
And it being late coming out on Xbox because they came out and said, we're struggling to get it running on the S with parity. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but they have since actually, it's up and running on the S. It actually does have split screen. They relatively recently got split screen working on the S.
Okay.
And as a studio, they have actually come out and said that working on the S actually helped them get way better at doing that kind of thing, doing the manufacturing kind of thing now, which is, again, kind of where things might have to be when we're looking at portability, when we're looking at the possibility of something like Baldur's Gate 3 being able to run on the Switch 2, which I 1000% believe in my heart that when they do the full on, here's what the Switch 2 is, here's coming to it, here's all the developers or whatever that are doing stuff for, blah, blah, blah. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be one of those games. And I'm willing to wager that the only reason why it will work on the Switch 2 is because they were forced to have to find a way to make it work on the S.
And like they said, they've learned so much from doing that. So it might be an easy thing to throw it on the Switch 2 after we see what it's capable of, if they don't announce it. Yeah.
But I also think that now, as we're looking at a cloud-based gaming landscape, again, people with Samsung TVs just having the app built in and being able to connect their controller and just, you got Game Pass, go in, play games right off the TV, no console needed. The whole this is an Xbox thing. So your laptop, your phone, your tablet, your iPad, whatever, plays Xbox games. There are rumors right now, and we've kind of talked about this before, but there are rumors right now. I guess let me do this first. What I want to know from you two, based on kind of where things are going, right? Like right now, it is more clear than ever that basically anything that Xbox manufactures, develops, puts out, it's under their banner of ownership, you'll be able to play it anywhere. You're going to be able to play it on PlayStation. You'll probably be able to play it on Switch 2. Clearly, you can already play it on your laptop, your PC, whatever. You can stream to your phone. So I'm just going to ask this straight out. Jokes, are you buying the next Xbox?
Yes.
Sin, are you buying the next Xbox?
Yes.
Why?
The gamer in me. As long as they put out consoles, I'm gonna have one. It's just that simple. I'm not when you can't buy a console no more, then yes, I can go to doing just a TV or just a PC thing. But yeah, as long as they put out consoles, I'm a gamer. I've always had consoles, always gamed with them, on them. It's just baked into me. It's not going anywhere.
You same thing, Jokes?
Similar, I would say for the most part. Definitely between, let's say between Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. Xbox is my favorite of the three consoles. So like, if I had to make a decision, kind of like almost if I didn't win the PS5, I would have bought the Xbox first, and then at some point when something would have come along, I would have probably eventually bought the PlayStation.
Right.
Um, but for me, just because of where I play and how I play, like Xbox comes first priority to me for everything. And then at the same time, depending on like how certain other things are going to integrate with the way that you can use the Xbox. Obviously, it's a Microsoft platform, so like eventually we know like as the new system has been handed over to like the Surface team and like possibly how they may integrate that into like a lot of the other things that they do. Um, but at the end of the day, it's just like for me, Xbox. I kind of like just saying, if there's a console, I'm gonna get it because between one of
Some of
them,
those weren't words you just said, but okay. I don't know what. I can't wait to go back and capture that.
I heard it. I translated in my brain. I knew what he was trying to say. I was able to follow the conversation. I was like,
I don't know.
but that was alphabet soup.
Hey, thank you for understanding my Kenglish there, Sid.
Wow.
Shots fired. Okay.
Wow.
But overall, yeah, like as long as the consoles keep coming, I'm gonna buy them. Whether they're digital only, still having the drive in there, whatever, man, I'm gonna have them.
Okay. But you don't necessarily feel the same way about PlayStation. Or
Yeah,
whatever PlayStation 6, like you're gonna buy PlayStation 6, doesn't matter. Gonna buy Switch 2, doesn't matter.
For me, yes. Yes. For me, yes.
Okay. And the idea of it doesn't really matter. Like if you buy a PlayStation, you buy a PlayStation 6, you'll be able to play every game Xbox puts out. Halos, Gears, Fable, South of Midnight, Doom, Call of Duty, everything that you could possibly purchase from Microsoft, you can play it on PlayStation. You're still gonna buy and whatever the next Xbox console is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I know who I'm talking to. And I recognize stubborn when I see it. And I get it. I love Xbox, but I'm not so sure that it makes sense. As long as I can use my controller, I would buy an Xbox just to keep playing on their controllers. It's a better controller. But you know, I think there are a lot of people who are going to look at it and be like, well, what am I really getting if I buy an Xbox? Other than locked out of whatever Sony decides they're not putting out on everything. And to some extent, eventually, with the way things are going, Sony will have to put their games on PC at some point. So, like, if you have a PC that's decent and you can play games there, which neither one of you do, play games on PC.
Every now and then there's something that comes out that's like, I'll get the trial or something to experience it, but I'm trying to think what the last game on PC was that I actually...
I don't know. It must be something different. I know that right now the PC, the joint you're on can barely run the what we're using to stream this right now.
And listen, I don't know what's happening. They listen. Well, it's got age on it now. So at one point, this thing was.
So, I mean, that's how computers work. Like that's how, you know what I mean? That's how it works.
Yeah.
And you know, the reality of it is they will have to have something else in Xbox consoles to A, prove that it is absolutely the best place to play those games,
Mm-hmm.
and or B, there is something else that they're offering to make it make sense. Because realistically, for most people, if the price point between whatever the next Xbox is and whatever the next PlayStation is the same, it doesn't make sense to buy both. It just doesn't. Now, for a lot of people, they play one or the other. The majority of people, they play one or the other. They don't have the funds and are not buying both. And even at that, even if you could, it doesn't necessarily make sense to. What I think is going to happen is Microsoft is probably going to release the next box as more of like it's going to be more like a PC, and it's going to run Steam. That's what I think. That's what I think that they're prepping for. I mean, I know they talked about it's going to be, but every time they put out something new, this is the greatest leap in console development. Like, it's always that.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what that means. But when you look at the landscape and you look at what they're trying to do, and you look at what their mantra is in terms of accomplishing people being able to play everywhere, I think in a lot of ways they are subtly forcing Sony to have no choice. Not necessarily but to put their games on Xbox, but like to put their games on PC. And if the next Xbox is basically just a PC that runs Windows and therefore runs Steam and or therefore runs whatever else, then technically, if Sony is putting their games on PC, you will be able to play them on the next Xbox. And Sony won't really have a say in it. It'll just be that that's what it is. And right now, it appears to me that they are doing a lot more to align the Windows OS and the Xbox OS into one integrated thing so that it's all the same. So that people who are like right now, if you want to play quote unquote like Xbox games through Game Pass on your PC, you're more or less booting up like an Xbox OS in order to do it.
Yeah.
They're trying to get away from that. They're trying to make it streamlined and have it all be the same, and they want it to all look the same. So whether you open the app on a Samsung TV or in the one that's coming to an LG TV, or you open it on your phone, or you turn on your Xbox, or you turn on your laptop, again, this is an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox.
It's all familiar. It all looks the same. Yeah. So no matter what you're getting, you're not confused by it.
Need it to be seamless, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the idea of being able to, again, that's what people are used to, being able to pick up and play wherever you are, log into your account, your cloud save gets downloaded, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that those things are the things that people are going to learn to expect. And when you don't have those things, when Sony is making you pay to have cloud storage, like when you have to pay for those things to be able to get, like, those are the kinds of things that, like, I just think they're gonna be like, nah, I'm not with that anymore. And I think it's gonna force them to have to change the way that they do business in ways that they don't want. But the model of like, we sell games that are only available on our system, I think is gonna go away to some extent. I think even Nintendo at some point is gonna have to play ball.
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned, at least with PC. I don't necessarily know that Nintendo is going to be willing to put their stuff on other people's systems, but I think there's a possibility, because even as tight as Nintendo is, and boy, they tight.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
There was a time when there was no way somebody else was going to touch a Nintendo IP, just for quality purposes or whatever. And now you see, there are Dynasty Warriors based games that are. Ubisoft gets the Mario and Rabbids game. You get, you know what I mean? Like, there are other, and they're still very about how it gets used and what they look like or whatever. And I totally get that.
Right, but it's more open now than it's ever been, as far as them willing to work with certain IPs and stuff like that. Like you said, make sure their product stays intact the way they like it. As long as that's being respected, they seem to be more open to taking those type of risks.
I also think that there's a, look, again, as younger people come in and kind of start to take over, Nintendo is super duper old school still in terms of like who runs it. It was, a family run company forever. But somebody young is going to come in and be like,
Yeah.
we're missing a lot of money. For all the money we're making, we're missing a lot of money. And I think that's the same thing that like Sony clearly started to see. Microsoft knew they were seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, we've acquired companies that have been putting their games out on other platforms, and we can see those numbers. And this is crazy. It makes more sense to be everywhere. So I do think we're going to see something like that soon. I think whatever the handheld is that they're deciding to do, they know that in the same way that like S is the mantra. S is like, we're kind of training you up now to know there's always going to be a lower tier you got to build for, just like you have done with PCs. So get ready, because there's going to be another console, but there's also going to be a handheld. And that handheld's not going to be able to do what the console does, but you're going to need to be able to make them run on both, because we want to make sure that people, when they buy it once, it works on both. To run for people on both. It's got to run on their TV. It's got to run on their phone. It's got to run in the cloud. It's got to run on the handheld. It's got to do both, or we're doing a disservice. People want to feel like they own the stuff they've licensed from us. I think that's the direction it's going to end up going. But I think it's very telling that y'all are both like, nah, dog, whatever they put out, I'm buying it. I'm in there just because that's how I've been. Even though things are changing and it's changing, that's just how it's been. You know what I mean? And I get it. And they're reliant on it. They're reliant on those of us who are like that. Like, nah, whatever y'all put, I don't really care what y'all say. Whatever y'all put out. You know what I mean? I'm in there. I do get it. I bought Windows phones. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
you got a Zoom.
That joint was like that. Don't do that.
that was a great panel. It was a great panel.
Great panel.
Yeah.
Way better than iPods. And in all honesty, all of what we're doing now that we give praise to Game Pass now for was all done with the Zoom first. All of it. Zoom Pass was $15 a month. Play all the music you like. It was literally the first streaming service, first pay for streaming service. Like, listen to all the music you want. Keep 10 songs. Those are yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically where we are now. They just not letting us keep them anymore. They used to do games with gold, and they were like, we ain't doing that no more.
Nope. We gave away enough trash.
They was giving away trash.
Once in a while, you would get a gem, like an old gem, be like, maybe I should download that. Okay, that's cool. But
I mean, for a long time, the games were really good. But towards like for like the last like 2 years of it,
garbage. It's not even worth looking what they give you.
Pure trash. I was still going in and downloading them Jones just off of GP. Like, oh nah.
It makes me miss the Summer of Arcade when they had those back in the day. Oh. Got some gems out of that. Yes, some gems.
Oh man, they got Castle Crashers DLC coming.
I know. On Steam. Might have to get Steam. Might have to download on Steam because that looks like fire.
It takes a lot to get me. You know what I'm saying? Grab something on Steam. Last thing I did was that karate game.
Oh yeah, the Rumble in the Bronx fake joint.
Something like that.
Trailer was like that.
Something like that. Let's get ready to get out of here, y'all. Couple things. Next week, we're kicking off Black History Month, so we'll be highlighting Black creators all throughout the week, lining up special guests to join us on weekly, each week. So next week, Adam Butler is gonna come back around and hang with us. It's always a good time when Adam's with us. So already, I talked with him a couple days ago and just was like, look. Yes, Zane, I did say Castle Crashers. I did say new DLC. Yes, they let you create your own characters. Yes, they redrew and updated everything, and it's only on Steam. But you got that new PC that runs everything.
Oh,
everything.
Have at it.
Everything.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. She don't play nothing hard, like heavy. Like,
okay.
Play nothing with no heavy lifting on the joint, but she good. Yeah. So Adam will be with us. There it is. Well, yes. Adam will be with us next week. This weekend, the guys are going down to Roanoke. Big Lick Comic Con Roanoke. We're doing a panel, kickoff panel, 12 p.m. Saturday at Big Lick Comic Con Roanoke. So if you're there, say what's up. It's good for us. We're looking to expand, kind of start doing things a little further out and so forth. So it'll be good to kind of go down to Hobnob and do some things in some other places and get a little bit further than local. So that'll be cool. The following weekend is Katsucon, but I don't have any intentions. And Jokes is like, maybe. You think so, Jokes?
Hey, listen, I just need to see how the security thing is. But if it's like, yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you do
Ghosty says
that.
she's sneaking me in, but I don't know that I really want to be there that bad. Maybe for a day. We'll see. But I don't have any intentions of going.
mm-hmm.
But I might peek my head in for a moment. Other than that, again, we're just staying busy. We're getting ready for BlurCon, which is first weekend in March, and
Yep.
then Awesome Con is right behind that. So again, kind of staying on the grind, keeping things going. But you know, in the meantime, we'll be here every week for you. What happened? You gonna fill in for us at Katsu? All right. All right. So make sure you shoot it and you upload it and you tag us in every.
You know what room she gonna be in.
You know what I mean? And get some good footage of whatever the random K-pop dance joint is.
That's exactly where she'll be at.
I know. Apparently they didn't do that at MAGFest this year.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. Don't whoa. Don't whoa. If you fill it in for us, that's the work you got to do. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Jokes, what's going on in wrestling?
So this week we got one of the big shows for WWE, the Royal Rumble. So I'm looking to get some input from you guys. So doing things a little bit differently. You're gonna see a couple posts go up in the wrestling chat with some polls. I'm trying to find out who you think are gonna win the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. And I'm gonna leave it open and so people you can actually type in names and put because we know there's going to be some surprises, and I'm expecting some people to do some random left field names in that list. And I want to have some fun with
Oh,
this,
it's
depending
gonna
on
be
what shows
terrible.
up.
It's gonna be terrible.
So expect to see those posts go up. I want to get your opinions on who's going to win the Royal Rumble this year.
Okay. Sin,
Is there?
anime chat popping.
We'll be back with a new episode this Thursday at 10 a.m. for you guys. We do revisit the Light conversation this week because last time I hadn't watched it in like 2 decades. So been going back through it. So I give my official take on what I feel about him this week. And also we dive into censorship in anime and how we feel about it, and even have some fun little interesting pictures, you would say, of ways they've been censored. That's kind of hilarious in the end. So some good times.
Dig it. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this evening. Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you getting your audio squared away this morning. This afternoon, as we kind of square through it. We have a game to play, correct? Is that
Yes,
still
we do.
happening? I'm just
Yes.
making sure.
Yes.
You do.
I'm just making sure.
Yes. The only thing that would stop that is us playing the other new game that just came out today. Because I'm
Well, that
downloaded
one's
and
single player, so
no, it's no 2 players.
It-
That's co-op, buddy. Do your math.
no.
All right, well, I'm down if y'all are down. Again, thank y'all for hanging out with us this evening. Greatly appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the world. You're here with us. Live your bloopers. Fix it in post. We're out. Toodles and lose. snap.